Hi, everyone. We're going to talk about onboarding made easy today. And onboarding is simply the steps that you take to get a new consultant started strong. And a lot of times people will tell me they're stressed out about onboarding, or they feel like they need to have a system, or they feel like there's so many options, they don't know where to start. And so we're going to break it down super easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. In fact, if you're feeling overwhelmed about it, you probably are making it too complicated. And when you think of a system is really just steps you take to produce something. And so, let's not overcomplicate it. Onboarding made easy. Here we go. All right. So, little principle before we get started into the nuts and bolts of this is the Betty Crocker Super Moist versus the fancy bakery cake. And in this business, which one do you want to be? When you're thinking about your onboarding systems, when you're thinking about really anything that you do, right? Because your team looks at you and looks at anything you do and think they have to do that too. But which one do you want to be? Which one is best for building a team? It's tempting to say the beautiful bakery cake because I'm sure it tastes amazing and it's so beautiful, and people would maybe choose that if they were to have an option between a slice of cake from each of these two options. But in this business, you really want to be the super moist because you want to be something that you want to replicate something that anyone can add a few ingredients, so a little bit of water, some eggs, and oil, and get a similar result. When you start overcomplicating things, here's the kicker. It might work amazing for you. It might be incredible for your personal business, for your personal sales, for maybe even your personal sponsoring, but if people can't do it easily, then it's really going to put a lid on your growth. And so we want to find that happy medium where it's effective and it also is something that other people can see themselves doing. And so you can grow not only a strong personal business, but a strong team as well. So that's what this onboarding system is. We're going to be the super moist, and the recipe is super simple. It's 1, 2, 3. Anyone can do this. Number 1, add them to a Facebook group, your team Facebook group, and welcome them. Number 2, add them to a new consultant checklist or tag them in a new consultant checklist that's in your Facebook group. And number 3, you're going to invite them to a new consultant webinar. So for each of those steps, adding them to the team page and welcoming them, doing a photo of them, introducing them to the team, maybe a couple fun facts, and so they know right away that they're part of something that's bigger than just themselves, that's more intimate than the big company. They're part of a pure romance family. Just helps them feel welcome and a part of something right away. So that's number 1. Number 2 is tagging them in a new consultant checklist. Now, I have mine created right in our Facebook group in our team. And so I actually created a document in Facebook, which is nice because you can have links and stuff to things. But then we just tag people as you add them to the group. You're going to tag them in the new consultant checklist. And here's an example of what that could look like for you. It basically breaks down things in a really simple way, because when people first start, they're getting lots of emails, they're getting lots of information. It can feel a little bit overwhelming, but this checklist just kind of walks them through the things that are most important to do first, which includes logging onto the consultant online office, getting your first 3 parties set up. So your launch party, your encore party, your party with the bestie, logging in and attending the new consultant webinar, setting up your square. All of those things are outlined in the new consultant checklist. And if consultants just start checking through that stuff, they're going to be in much better shape than I was when I started, and have a lot more than a lot of us had when we began our business. So I love that. It's just super easy. And then, of course, the new consultant webinar that now corporate is doing for us every single week, every Monday at 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We have this awesome webinar opportunity. And just like with hostesses, we really encourage them to do an individual invitation. We don't want to just leave it up to corporate to get the word out on this. We want to make sure that we are individually inviting and making sure that people know that that's important to plug into. So invite them to the new consultant webinar, make it personal, let them know they need to be there, and that is it. So when you think about the basic recipe for onboarding, step 1, add them to the team page and welcome. Step 2, tag them in a new consultant checklist. Step 3, invite them to a new consultant webinar. If they do all of those 3 things, you are going to have a cake, and it's not super fancy, and there's more fancy stuff that you could do to it, but you've got the basics there, all right? And so that is where it starts. If everyone in your organization, everyone on your team felt really confident about bringing people on because they knew that this is really all they had to do, imagine what that could do for your team. So that said, maybe you want to add some extras. So maybe you want to put some frosting on your cake and some sprinkles and some candles and a cake topper. I don't know what else you want to put on there, but this is where you can kind of add your personal flair. This is the basics. This is what I teach my team. And then we have some extras, all right? These are my extras. I only have 2 extras because I like to, again, keep stuff super simple. Again, I don't care what works for me personally. I only care what is going to replicate itself. So I have a favorite things survey, and I have a business kickoff call that I do with my new team members. And the favorite things survey, it's created in Google. It's a Google form, free to create. And it basically just gives me some more details about my new consultants. So who are the most important people in your life? And for Babies Count, it would be a dream come true if my business would provide what? Hobbies, how do you like to spend your time? What's something that maybe most people don't know about you? Again, it just gives me a little bit of personal information about them. And so I can connect with them on a personal level. I can really know what they're working towards when we're talking. You'll notice there's not a lot of really big goal setting stuff in here that is concrete, because at this point when people are just getting started, a lot of times they don't know. And so this kind of gives me a bigger picture of what's important to them, broadly what they're working towards, and then we can begin the conversation from there. So a sample message that I might send out to someone after I've done the first 3 steps is, hi Sandy, I'd love to set up a call and talk next steps with you and get and how to get you what you want from this business. How does Tuesday look for you? P.S. Also, when you have a minute, could you fill this out? I want to get to know you. And there's a link to the favorite things survey. So that's it. Set up that call as quickly as you can. It's really nice if you can get that done in the first couple days of them being a consultant, because they still are excited and kind of fills in that gap while they're waiting for their kit to get there. But just make sure that this is something that I really believe in, that personal connection is so important, because that is really a lot of times what will help people stay in the business, when they feel like they've got personal connections. And so I do like connecting with my team members, whether I'm bringing in, a couple people a month or a dozen people a month. I believe taking 25 minutes to do this is critical. But again, not everyone is going to do this. I recognize this. I know that as simple as I think it is, not everyone is going to do it. And so again, if they do those first 3 steps, will be good. But if you can do this too, it's going to really add some extra for you. So this is a new checklist, a new start checklist for sponsors. And I print these out for my team members to keep myself on track. But it basically is the onboarding steps. And so you'll notice the first part of that checklist is adding them to the Facebook group, tagging and inviting them to the webinar, and then sending them the favorite things survey. And then we do the kickoff call. And this kickoff call, I have outlined everything that I walk through with them. And so, again, we're reinforcing, their first 3 parties. And so if they don't have a date set for their launch party yet, we're going to go ahead and get that set up on the phone. We are asking them about the new consultant webinar. We are talking to them about some of the monthly events that we have, our team meetings and all that good stuff. And then I also like to let them know about the role and expectations of a sponsor. And so I'll let them know right up front that my job as your sponsor is to help you become independent from me as quickly as possible. And you really are going to create your own success in this business. I'm here to guide you, but this is your business. And so I'm not going to chase you down. The best way to reach me is by text message. You can always give me a call or shoot me a Facebook message. But text message is usually going to be the way that I will see it the most quickly. I will respond within 24 hours, know that I have a busy family life, and I'm also doing parties. And so if you need a really quick answer, you can always connect with the Facebook group. We've got lots of women that are there that can help you get a quick answer to one of your questions. But please don't ever hesitate to reach out. That's what I'm here for. And I want you to be successful, however you define that for yourself. So that's literally scripted right out in this little call. And then the assignment, if she hasn't had them set up yet, I'm going to give her assignment to get your launch party, encore party, and party with the bestie set up before we talk next. Do you want to connect before your next launch or before your launch party? If so, we can go ahead and do a quick call and get that set up on the calendar. But otherwise, that is it, you guys. So this is my kickoff call. That's the basic recipe to onboarding. And it's super simple. So again, you got the first 3 steps. You got another 4 and 5 if you want to get fancy and add some extras. Maybe you have different extras that you think are important. You could sprinkle those in there too. But that is really it. It doesn't take a lot of time. It shouldn't be overly complicated. We should not be recreating the wheel. We don't want to always, be everything for all of our consultants. We really want to help guide them to find their own answers versus always being the trainer, the first party person who is feeding that to them all the time. We want to use third-party tools and help guide them to find their own answers. So that's it in a nutshell. And ta-da, if you do those things, you're going to have a beautiful cake that looks really nice and it tastes delicious, and people will look at that and not be intimidated by it, right? So that is what it's all about. It's all about providing a great foundation for our new consultants, helping to empower them to find their own answers, getting that personal connection solid, but then also showing them this is easy and they don't need to be intimidated about sponsoring, because it is very simple to onboard people and it doesn't take a lot of time and it doesn't take a lot of knowledge, because we just are guiding them to the resources that are already there. So I hope that's helpful. Happy onboarding, and reach out with questions. Bye.